I was stumbling upon I stumbled upon the concept of our human ancestry, and we were talking about Neanderthals and why they died off. The theory is that originally the Neanderthal and the humans, Homo sapiens, got along, and then the human knocked them off or something. And we have an expert on our show right now. Mark, welcome to the Savage Nation. I understand you're a Neanderthal expert.
Yeah, I really made my living in quantum physics, but it was a natural thing for me to study the Neanderthal. Let me just tell you a few things right off the top. The Neanderthal ate 100% meat, and that made him very different than our ancestors.
Oh, so the Neanderthal was the meat eater.
Yeah, 100%. No vegetables, no vegetable matter. But
it sounds like my relatives.
Well, it absolutely worked during the Ice Age because there were large, hairy animals running around.
Wait, sir, this is a family show, please.
Okay, the Neanderthal was stronger and had a bigger brain than our ancestors. And
yes.
During the Ice Age, they could hunt better, and they had a steady supply of food. However, once the Ice Age began to go away, our ancestors could eat plant material, but all the large animals were becoming extinct. The Neanderthal just lost out.
In other words, so the Neanderthal who was eating pure meat, his food supply started to diminish, so he died out.
Right, because we could get along without meat every day, because we could eat plants, but they couldn't. And by the way, we never got along with them very well. They found a few colonies where they were interbreeding, but normally they either cannibalized each other or they had sex with each other, but they never really got along. They were really different in every way. That was very...
It's interesting. So from the point of view of dentures, they did not have grinding teeth. The Neanderthal had strictly cutting teeth. Is that it?
Well, no, you don't have to go that far, because look at among Homo sapiens, the Eskimos, for example, eat all meat because there's no vegetables up there, and they do just fine. For example,
whoa! Don't tell that to the Inuits that they can't live on an all vegan diet. I mean, don't tell that to the hippies in San Francisco about the Inuits up there eating all meat. I mean, they're liable to get upset and tell you that their health is bad. The fact is that I studied this years ago when I was working for my PhD in nutrition. I was very pleased to learn that the Greenland Eskimos, who lived on huge amounts of whale blubber, suffered no heart disease whatsoever.
Well, let me go a step further. The scientists went up there and really wanted to know about this, and they tried to march step for step with the Inuits, and they ended up not being able to do it. You have to consume a certain amount of blubber in order to generate enough heat to keep up with the Inuits. So they're really advanced, or let's say they're a good fit to their environment.
No, what I'm saying is the Greenland Eskimos, who lived on almost pure seal and whale blubber, meaning high-fat diets, did not suffer atherosclerosis, and the theory that I read was because the whales and the seals in those waters were consuming plankton, which the plankton was rich in omega-6 fatty acids, for example. And so the blubber itself was not cardiotoxic blubber per se. So it's not the fact that you're eating fat, it's the kind of fat that you're eating and whether or not your body can metabolize it without oxidizing it.
Yeah, but Dr. Savage, you got to go further than that. There's genetic selection.
I agree with that 100%. 100% correct. Of course there is. Of course there is.
You can drink alcohol and they can't. And that's another genetic selection.
And that's 100. That's an interesting. Let's talk about that for a minute. Native Americans have a lot of trouble with alcohol consumption, and I studied this, and I try to understand why such wonderful warriors ancestrally could not drink alcohol. Now, this is also true for one division of the Scandinavian people. They're laughed at by the others, nicely. The Finns they also have trouble drinking. You know that. The Finnish people are genetically related in many ways to our Native Americans. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that.
All right, well, that's a fact. And the reason that the Native American has difficulty with alcohol is because their sugar metabolism is different than ours. Their bodies were designed over thousands or thousands of years of evolution, if not hundreds of thousands, to consume sugar, meaning blood glucose, at a very slow rate. And that permitted them to go on long-distance hunts and long-distance runs and basically consume very small amounts of blood sugar. That's what their body was genetically designed for. And when you flood that body with alcohol, which is a sugar, converts to sugar, what you do is you completely overwhelm their entire capacity to deal with that large amount of sugar, and they get drunk very fast and they get sick very fast.
Yes, they do. I got to tell you something. Jews have some kind of genetic abnormality which allows us to metabolize alcohol better. And I did not look at it.